Welcome to the Global Observatory. I'm sitting down with Maria Ivanova. She's the Assistant Professor of Global Governance at the Department of Conflict Resolution, Human Security and Global Governance at the McCormick Graduate School of Policy and Global Studies at UMass Boston. The first question I had was in relation to the recently concluded Durban talks. In light of the outcome of those, what do you see as the prospects for the further role of global environmental governance in addressing complex issues such as climate change? Do you hold out hope for any substantive agreement coming out of the 2015 goal?
Well, first of all, thank you for hosting me here. It's really a pleasure to address your constituency, your audience, and share some of my experiences and some of my thoughts. I do work on global environmental governance, and I've been thinking about these issues for a while. In terms of what we can expect and the connection to climate change, is that global environmental governance is about the environment. Governance is simply the design and execution of policy. Environmental governance is the design and execution of policy for the environment. Global environmental governance is that same thing for the global level. So for me, climate change is part of that construct. So I would not put global environmental governance and climate change or versus climate change. To me, it's analytically it is the same construct. But I do understand that politically, operationally, there are different organizations that are working on climate issues and on various environmental concerns. Practically, what my hopes would be for the next rounds of talks, the next agreements, would be that when we do consider climate issues, that we do think about the governance, about the global aspects, but also about the connection between the national, the regional, and the local levels. And climate change has become the quintessential global problem, but we do need governance arrangements. And so the way I bridge those two analytical issues, global environmental governance and climate change, is through that governance dimensions. What do we need for the design and execution of policy for climate change? And that's where we could see the nexus of or where the nexus comes together among the various organizations and institutions in the UN system. Unfortunately, we have split those debates into various fora, and various people are engaged in them, and we've created these silos. But the way I see a way forward that I see is by bringing these issues down, and not necessarily into a local level, so to speak, or a regional level, but into a classroom level. I think the categories in which we think need to change. And rather than saying the local level and you think of this country and that country, whether it's Norway or Namibia, let's think of a classroom level. And when I teach global environmental governance and climate change, I can't separate them and say, now, today we're only going to talk about this issue. What I teach my students is to be able to connect those and to see the interdependencies. If there is a way to do that at the international level, it is only through enabling the individuals that are engaged in these to see this from day one as something that they live. And as I like often quoting Abraham Lincoln, who said, the philosophy of the classroom of one generation is the philosophy of the government of the next generation. And so perhaps somewhat idealistically, but I do believe that that is the best way forward, is to bridge those divides at the classroom level. And then the people that come out and lead governments or any type of organization will be doing this just as naturally as we all walk and breathe and eat.